Hi, okay, welcome back. We're just going to finish up. Right now, we're going to talk about special and vulnerable populations, okay? So, some of the vulnerable and special populations that we're going to run into would be the elderly, the children, and the pregnant women. Okay, so they're going to require added attention in the crisis. The elderly, the pregnant women, and children. The fast approaching wildfire, for instance, in this case, this is going to cause a lot of panic, a lot of stress on. Excuse me, I apologize. Okay, so the approaching wildfire is going to cause a lot of stress and panic and nerves going, being rattled on the pregnant women. So the hospital ought to pay focus on providing pregnant women with the right care. We want to avoid any loss of life. The elderly are going to receive top priority care, though. Their medical attention is going to be priority during any type of crisis, regardless of anything. The elderly might not have the energy or the vigor contained by the younger generations, exposing them to more vulnerability and limited access to medical attention. If not offered special treatment, some of the elderly also have a lesser survival rate, chances of any emergency cases compared to the other groups. I apologize. And so, proper focus and attention provided to the elderly is in such a crisis can help in the preservation of this vulnerable group. They require more attention than the youth or the mature population. The fire breakout is going to lead to limited access to the basic necessities like just food and water. We're probably going to run out quickly. We can probably anticipate that. Most of the population in the affected region is going to be in need of this food and water. And so, however, the children in the population might need the basic needs more promptly compared to the other populations. Babies, children, toddlers, they eat frequently. Therefore, the hospital should make sure that the children get the necessary needs met quickly: food, water, clothing, before any population groups. Yes. And so the evacuation plan for the patient, staff, and visitors, and anybody who is in the hospital with us. Okay, so once the fire begins to get closer to the hospital, an evacuation plan for the patients, staff, and visitors first begins. And so with effective communication to the hospital, without the right communications, the chances of avoiding a chaotic evacuation, it'll become slim. We'll probably have better chances of getting out quickly and safely. The first form of administering effective guidance to both the patients and visitors, both about the exit points available around the hospital. An alert will be sent out to the staff through the established walkie-talkies, and the focus will be on moving the patients out of the hospital as quickly and carefully as possible. We want to get everybody out safe, out of harm's way, no issues. So the evacuation plan includes staff members available in all different departments, able to assist any patients or visitors at any times. So the external non-notification serves as a right step in the evacuation plan, especially in such a case where the fire moves faster and closer to the hospital. We want to just quickly get out of there. And so the main role of the external notice remains to set up effective initiatives like the provision of transportation from the hospital to safer grounds. We might need to take everybody and move to a sister neighboring hospital, or just get somewhere to like a park, anywhere. We just have to go. And so the purpose of the external notification is to alert departments like the firefighter department of the danger that's approaching, maybe the police department, anything that we're going to need them to come and help us out. And so the role of cultural diversity in this disaster, everybody's going to be running and they're going to be scared, and just so many people. And so in this happening, we can assume that we're going to have many cultures in the building, because so many people are just coming from the neighboring areas altogether. And so, without proper focus on cultural diversity, especially in time of crisis, the management of such a situation can prove to be a little bit difficult. So, the case of the fire spreading close to the hospital requires proper notification from the hospital and its staff. However, without focus on different cultures, like the Hispanic and the Asians, they might not comprehend the instructions that are provided in English. Excuse me. The evacuation plan for the EOP can end up in chaos. Therefore, in the case, the hospital should have effective translators available. Yeah, we're going to have translators because in this case, we're hurrying. We need to get everybody safe and out of harm's way. So we're going to have translators ready and available to notify and make sure that we're all on the same page. Any lack of translators can promote the provision of incorrect medication, and that might prove harmful to the patients in the process. The translators will also be helpful. If somebody's hurt, we need to let them know what we're doing, and they need to be able to tell us what they're allergic to or anything that we need to know. So, of course, in a trauma, there's always some type of grief. And so the 5 stages of grief can prove challenging, especially in such a case where disaster continues to occur even when addressing the stages. Therefore, it's important to keep the stages in mind. Different people have various ways of dealing with grief. Thus, we start with bargaining, which quickly spreads because everybody is worried about the fire. So they're thinking that the fire will take many people's lives during this process. So many people are worried. However, not all victims of the fire will lose their lives, but some might find shelters nearby that can withstand the strong fire, meaning that the absence of various characters does not equate to death, because just because somebody's missing doesn't mean that somebody's dead in the situation. Missing people might already receive help from local and federal government through channels like the use of rescue helicopters to safer grounds. However, continuous silence from the people of focus that lead many people to the acceptance of grief, it remains inevitable that the fire can do a lot of damage if not properly controlled. And so the chances of different people succumbing to the fire, it can remain high, especially in such a fire crisis as this one. And so, in conclusion, the development of an EOP for Hummingbird Hill Hospital in Lancaster, California, is assisted in the preparedness of the institution during the wildfire crisis. The proper allocation of responsibilities to people like the incident command assisted in effective communication and management of the crisis, okay? And so the hospital already possessed initiatives like preparedness with necessities like food, bedding, water, clothing, and this is used by the families and visitors seeking refuge during the crisis in the hospital. Also, an evacuation plan based on appropriate communication and cooperation assisted in delivering the people in the hospital to safer grounds during the spread of the fire. Helpful organizations like the local government, translators, and volunteers, and the police department helped in maintaining tranquility among the survivors of the crisis in the hospital. Okay, that is all. Thank you for watching my presentation. I hope you enjoyed the background music that I attempted to play for you. Thank you. I enjoyed the class. This concludes my presentation.